Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS here, back with you with another video. Sorry, that's the kittens making a mess again. Anyway, yeah, sorry, back with you with another video. And for this one, I thought I'd do something a bit different. And I know I've talked about this a while back, but I thought I'd do something different in between my Milan videos, my AC Milan footy videos. I had a few things I wanted to talk about really on Mondays, like my dreams for mixed race people and things like that again, which I covered before, but in a bit of different detail. But anywho, I was thinking of getting straight onto the AC Milan videos the AC Milan part 2 video, but I thought I'd cover this. So a rather controversial idea. I've decided to take a bit of a risk and talk about something a bit controversial, because I thought, to be honest with you, I thought it might get people interested in discussing this idea, or discussing this thought or philosophy or whatever. But anyway, I'll try not to waffle too much. I hope you kind of enjoy it, and all views accepted. So I hope I won't offend anyone out there, because I have my own views, and mainly I just want to ask the questions and see what other people think about this controversial philosophy. Some people call it a movement, and I like my alliteration a bit too much. But some people get offended when you call it a movement, because they say it's not a movement because it can't be. A movement can be infiltrated, but in this case, it's a philosophy. It's a way of thinking. So M.G.T.O.W basically however you pronounce it, stands for men going their own way, which is a controversial sort of view, which I think kind of says that society is being a bit harsh and having too many expectations, being a bit harsh on modern day men. Like, I want to be careful not to offend anyone, because I do fear offending people, and I don't want to say all women are the same, or all men are the same, or whatever. But yeah, different people have different reasons for joining M.G.T.O.W. The idea is it's supposed to be going your own way. So some people might say the having a whole group of people doing it and having certain rules towards it sort of might defeat the object. But I think there are certain things that people might say you should adhere to. Adherence to M.G.T.O.W. would be like things like not getting into long-term relationships, not living with someone, not getting married, and things like that, not having children and things like that, because the divorce courts and things like that are a bit too risky. So I think a lot of guys just want to live on their own anyway. If you're able, like me, I have learning disabilities and mental health problems. I don't know if you can tell that, but from other videos you probably noticed, if not from these ones or from this one. But yeah, I think, without wanting to offend anyone, I think people say, like, some people blame feminism and say that feminism's gone too far or whatever. But again, without wanting to offend anyone, I think it's like I was thinking, like, women in the workplace is something like I've never wanted to be a provider in my life, really, for my sins. So I think it would be unfair to complain like about women in the workplace. But I think the rules there seems to be so many double standards. I suppose you could say they work both ways. Like, for instance, if women sleep around, they're called, excuse the expression, but sluts or whatever. And if men sleep around, we're called studs or whatever, for those who get to do so. Sorry, my kitten's tickling my feet again, but they're really funny now. But yeah, I think they wanted some attention. But anyway, what was my chain of thought? Sorry, I lost my chain of thought then. I just want to explain why I was giggling there. But yeah, I suppose I class myself as quite an effeminate person, but I'm also aromantic, and I have some masculine traits, I'd say, like, for instance, being quite shallow about looks, or what's another one? I can't think of one off the top of my head, but being aromantic itself, I suppose, is probably what I would class as a masculine trait. But I think the way feminism is, if it was like completely equal, and saying that women should earn the same as men but do the same sort of work and have the same opportunities as long as they do the same sort of work and provide the same value to the market, and no one's forced to do anything they don't want to do and things like that. And also like equal pay for equal work and also equal responsibilities. Like if women went Dutch or things like that, I think it would be an okay system. But I think either we should stick to traditional roles or we should be sort of equal. So even some women say like divorce courts or things like that. By the way, I was thinking I have really put the cat amongst the pigeons here. I have taken a risk, so I hope I don't offend anyone. As I say, these are just my own thoughts, and I welcome people's thoughts. If people think M.G.T.O.W is ridiculous, or even if you think I'm ridiculous for making such a video, or don't know what I'm talking about, then that's fine. I welcome your comments, even if they're hate comments or whatever. I welcome all comments on Facebook or Answer a Call YouTube. But yeah, people who might agree with or see where I'm coming from, or people who think M.G.T.O.W is really good and is really important. I welcome, as I say, comments from across the spectrum, any comments really. But yeah, I think like if you're going to make it so that women want equal pay, then I think it's only fair that women pay the same, like if we go Dutch or stuff like that. But I think a lot of men are still expected to be tall, rich, muscular, providers, protectors, and all that. And I don't think it really works if, in my opinion, if you've got, I think mathematically, I'm not very good at maths, but logically and logistically wise, or however you pronounce it, logisticality wise or whatever, it doesn't really work if like people say, like, for instance, someone was like the Better Bachelor the Better Bachelor, I think his channel's called, calls himself the Joker. He was saying that if he was saying like women say, or modern day women seem to say like equal, we want to be paid the same as men, but we want a man to earn 1.5 or 2 times the amount. And I thought he was going to say it's unrealistic or it's unreasonable, but he said it's impossible. That's what you call it, impossible. You could use any of those terms really, unrealistic, unreasonable, answerable, impossible really. In this case, they probably all go hand in glove because I think the thing is, there's a lot of pressures on young men getting jobs. Not that I'm a young man myself, but there's a lot of, or much of a man, but there's a lot of pressures on a young man. Like there's women in the workforce, and now some people might jump straight down my throat and say, that's really sexist, or why do you think that women shouldn't be in the workforce? But the thing is, the problem is that why that's a challenge is because that is going to take, so if there's 100% of jobs where in the past men used to do pretty much all of those jobs, now you're putting more people into the workplace, but still expecting them to earn a certain amount and do a certain amount of things and achieve a certain amount. I don't think it works mathematically, realistically. I think there's going to be a certain amount of men who are out of work. There's going to be a certain amount of men who are either unable to get jobs, or if they do, not be paid the amounts that people want. For instance, I think as women earn more money, their standards go higher. So in the past, Homer Simpson could work at the power plant, or someone could work on minimum wage, and it would probably be good enough for a lot of women. But today, I think because women are earning 6-figure salaries in a lot of cases, or earning certainly good money, and in some cases, as they 6-figure salaries, they expect the man to be able to earn that much. But there's less and less men earning that much, and more women earning that much. So I think that's why relationships today are sort of skew-if or scuffered. And I think also there's a lot of things in the media, again, in my opinion, and a lot of people say this, where it seems to be man bashing. I think, again, even a lot of women say this, there's a lot of things that are male bashing. And in the long run, I think that affects all of society. I think it affects, I mean, it's bad for men, but I think it's bad for women, bad for relationships, bad for having children. Some woman put it, can't remember her name, that's why I call her some woman. I'm not saying that in a sexist way, but she was saying it's a problem for us women. Like she goes, the consequences of feminism, it's bad for us women because it means there's less weddings, marriages, children, and I think any long-term relationship, in my opinion, is really for the benefit of women, because us blokes, we can go without relationships really. We could go from one, it might feel a bit harsh, it might feel a bit dirty or rude or whatever, but we could go from one relationship to it, or we can go for one partner, or we could, how can I put it, we could make love to one woman and then go to another and then go to another. And I think what stops us from doing that is like either cultural norms or values, or fear of God, or like religion, family, tradition, or maybe respect for a woman. But like, to me, long-term relationships are for the benefit of females. If you think about all the things that are in long-term relationships, like being provided for, protected, having to spend company, having to talk, and those sorts of things, I think they're all pretty much all almost 100% for, if not 100% really, for the benefit of women. In some cases it might be different, but I think that's generally the case. But I haven't really planned this video out. You can probably tell I'm jumping from point to point, but these are my controversial views, taking a bit of a risk. I hope I won't be hope this won't be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I hope I won't be cancelled or or lose subscribers or anything like that before I even get going. But these are my views, and I, as I say, I don't want to offend anyone, but I just think mathematically you can't really. I think either we should be completely equal, where we get paid similar amounts and we do similar work, pretty much the same work, and get paid almost the same, or we go back to male being the providers or whatever. But I don't think it works if you say, well, males still have to earn this much and be providers, but then women can work. And I did jump from one point to another, but I was saying, like, if you look at the market now, the jobs market, I mean, with things like say, how can I put it, women workforce is going to mean it's going to be harder for a man to get a job, and also, which wouldn't be a problem if you didn't expect men to still be providers, if you know what I mean. I hope that makes sense. But also things like AI, artificial intelligence, not Anglo-Indian, so please don't blame us. Immigration, some of it legal, some of it illegal. The way the economy is, wars, and again, booms and busts, like the way the economy is. So I think there's 5, maybe 6 things that put pressure on a man's on men getting jobs. And the reason why I think that's, say, problematic, like say logistically or mathematically, is because it means that if we have the same standard, it's going to be harder. And I think that's why so many males today have low self-esteem, or even, sorry to say this term, but or even committing suicide or having problems. And I think society is pushing our many males, especially young males, problems aside and saying, oh, man up or whatever. But I'd say there's less jobs, and the problem why that's a problem is because males are still judged on how much money we can make, how big we are, how muscular we are, tall we are, and things like that. So I think that's problematic or difficult if obviously there's less jobs, less opportunities. So let alone to rise up the ranks of a job, even just getting a job and keeping a job, and then you got to get promotion, then you got to get to a certain stage. And obviously some men can still do that, but it's going to be less and less as all these other pressures and competitions on our jobs or their jobs or whatever are going to be. So yeah, I wonder if you think I'm just moaning or feeling sorry for men, or some might say boo-hoo or whatever. But I think, again, like males, we're expected to like keep our problems bottled up, not show emotions, keep quiet about our problems, don't moan about it and whatever, don't whinge about it and that kind of thing. And some people, again, I think some people might misunderstand. I think like women in the workforce, they might say, oh, if you don't sort of agree with that, then you must be a misogynist or a sexist. But as I say, I've never wanted to be a provider in my life, so for me that would not be a problem. But I think there's still the same sort of pressures. Unless women go Dutch, I think relationships are probably going to go downhill, which I think would be bad for women and society, and for males who just want to get laid and stuff like that, but who just want to make love, to put it politely. But yeah, those are my opinions anyway. I have a few other things I could say, but I realise this video has gone on quite long. I did want to keep it short and sweet, but I do have a lot of things. I was thinking for each 3 points I could zip 3 zips of my tea. But I think I'm going to wrap this up and maybe make a part 2 or make a follow up to it either later or next week or whatever, because it's M.G.T.O.W Mondays, let's say. But yeah, I was wondering if I have made a mistake making this video, but I'd love to know what you think. Maybe some people out there enjoy it and see where my point coming from, because maybe some women might even say, I've never really thought of it that way, and see that actually modern males do have a lot of challenges, problems, like still expecting to have all these standards even higher than before, and less opportunities. But do you think I'm moaning or not making any points or any sensible points, or do you think I've got the wrong end of the stick mathematically and things like that? I'm not very good at maths, as I say, but logistically and whatnot, or not? As ever, please leave any comments you can. I hope, once again, I hope no one gets offended for waffling from me. I'm out. Peace and love.